Who did that? I know ain't nobody did that but my husband. Here's my. Oh. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, my asthma has decided to join the chat today. So if I start coughing, um, we're gonna have to cut this short. But I'll stay on until I feel like something is going on. Let's see who is here. Hi, Renetta McFadden. Hello. How are you doing? Um, we're gonna talk about this Colin Kaepernick show on Netflix. Colin in black and white, and it kind of talked to the. I do believe it's gonna be a second season, and the first season starts off with him as a child. Hey, Chester. Yeah, you haven't been here in a while. The first season starts off with him entering high school, I think. I think it starts off with him entering high school. And um, now, let me preface this. I'm not a sports fan. I'm not into sports at all. Um, the team that my husband like my husband likes football, so he likes the Raiders. I like the Raiders. Other than that, I mean, I don't watch games, and it's very rare that um, I will watch games and stuff because that's not my thing. Um, I am a sports aunt. My nephew plays baseball and football. He's been playing baseball since he was real small. And he is a senior in high school now, and he's still playing baseball and football. So I didn't really know anything about Colin Kaepernick until, this whole um, protesting situation with him started. Like, I knew who he was, but, I didn't really know anything about his backstory um, until all of this started. So now we see that he is an adopted biracial child. This family adopted him, I think they said when he was 3 days old. He wasn't their first choice. Their first choice was a white child because both his adoptive parents are Caucasian. And that baby fell through. So they ended up with Colin Kaepernick, who probably when he was a baby, he probably was extremely light skinned, and he probably looked like a little white baby when he was first born. And he, grew up to have a little bit more black features. Now, this whole Colin Kaepernick story brings up a lot of questions for me about Caucasian people adopting biracial and black children. A lot of questions for me. So it, starts off. I don't really want to give the story away for people who have not um, seen it. I don't want to give like the good stuff away. But, it talks about his high school sports career, how he was playing very good at baseball, but his real love was football. He really, really wanted to be a quarterback. And they really, really highlighted the fact that he wanted to be a quarterback in the show, even though he was very good at baseball. Football was his passion. And so they showed him going to baseball tournaments and how he was treated in these predominantly white cities playing baseball, basically being the only black or biracial child on the team. How not only how he was treated by his parents, but how he was treated by other people. He even said at one point in the show that he thought that his parents' white privilege was extended to him because he was their child. He felt like the white privilege that his parents had, he had also, but he learned very quickly that no, you're not going to get that white privilege because you're not white. You may have been adopted by a white family, but that white privilege does not extend to you because you're not seen as white. And it's so interesting how his parents allowed him as a biracial child to go through all these microaggressions from other white people and they did not defend him. Seeing him in certain situations and they would not step up because they didn't understand it. Those things had never happened to them. So they didn't really understand how important it was and how hurtful a lot of the things that their son was going through because they were white. It wasn't happening to them. And it hadn't happened to their other white children. So, they just kept brushing it off and basically telling him, oh, well, like there was an incident where he went to a hotel. He was staying at a hotel because of the baseball tournament. And the manager walked up to his parents and asked his parents, oh, is this man bothering you? And I think at the time Colin was like 14 years old. And his parents kind of like made a joke like, yeah, he's bothering us, but we can't help it because it's our son. And the woman was like, oh, you doing the Lord's work. You adopted him? And they were like, yeah, we adopted him. And she was like, oh, you such great people. You're doing the Lord's work by taking someone basically that no one else wanted. And instead of his parents like putting her in her place, they kind of smiled and was like, yeah, we're doing the Lord's work. So when Colin got up to his room, he was really offended. And, he was kind of like sulking, and the mother asked, like, what's going on? And he was like, that woman hit, poked me in my back. And, like, basically, you guys didn't even do anything. Like, had that been my child, I'd have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? Doing the Lord's work? Girl, this is my child. If you don't get the hell away from me. But his parents were just oblivious as to what he was going on, what was going on with him because he was different. And they didn't understand that. And I feel that's what happens to a lot of black children who are adopted by white parents. They are oblivious as to the struggles of especially young African American boys in certain situations. The microaggressions that they have to go through. Like Colin was 14 years old, and it was like, people kept referring to him as a man. Like 14, you're still a child. He had a little peach fuzz on his top lip, and his own father was like, "You need to shave that." When he wanted to get his hair corn rolled, his mother told him, after he went and did it, like, it makes you look like a thug. And to have your own mother, the person that you feel has loved you and nurtured you all of your life, to you get up to a teenager and she look at you as a thug just because you wanted to do something different with your hair. It does. It scares me when, white people adopt black children, because they don't understand. A lot of them don't understand the culture of black people. They don't understand our hair. Like, I do see some women online asking for help after they have adopted a black child. You wait until you get that child in your home, and then you realize, oh, I don't know what the heck to do with this nappy hair. Can somebody help me? That's something you should have researched before you got that child into your home. You don't wait until you get a black child in your home to realize, oh, their hair is, you know, a lot coarser or thicker or nappier, like whatever term you want to use, because nappy does not offend me. And if it offends you, I'm sorry. Replace nappy with whatever term you decide to use. But some of those things should have been researched before you brought that child in your home. Don't wait to bring that child in your home and then realize, I don't know what the hell to do with their hair, or what do they eat. because because this show is produced by Colin Kaepernick and Ava DuVernay. So, of course, he had a lot of input in it. It's about his life. And one of the things that he kept showcasing was the fact that his mama couldn't cook. He didn't like the food that she cooked. She never, attempted to make any soul food, or, introduce him to any of his cultural dishes. She just gave him that bland, I don't want to offend any of my white subscribers, but y'all know y'all don't cook like us. Okay? And if you offended, then that's your offense. It's not me trying it. Y'all know y'all don't. I be seeing that potato salad with raisins and, I don't know, child. White chicken. Wait a minute. Speaking of this white chicken, the other day I had ordered Instacart, and I had ordered a rotisserie chicken for Gizmo. Gizmo gets his own rotisserie chicken once a week. I have to add that to his food because he didn't got to the point where he going through this weird thing where he don't want to eat dog food. So I'll order this dog a rotisserie chicken and make him some rice when he's acting crazy. I ordered this rotisserie chicken from Sprouts. Now, usually I get it from Safeway. I ordered it from Sprouts. Why that chicken come here and it was white as hell? Just white. It was done. Because when I looked at it, I was like, did they cook this shit? Did they just send me a raw ass cut up chicken? So I cut it up and look on the inside. It's done. But the skin of the chicken was white. It didn't look like it was seasoned at all. I'm like, what the hell kind of rotisserie chicken is Sprouts making? That's because y'all in there cooking. And I don't even know why I expected it. But see, Safeway, it be some of us and, people of color, even if it's not African American, it's Hispanic or something. They back there cooking the food, and at least they let the chicken get brown and season it and, have a flavor and stuff. But this chicken was just as white, child.
Oops.
Why?
No, no, I was gonna come in here and mess with you, but you were talking, so.
Oh yeah, I'm talking shit. I thought you was out there watching the show.
No, I ate and then I'm
They
probably
still
gonna take a
watching it?
nap. They're about to, mom and pop about to go. Jackie, she's still watching.
What mom and pop going?
Take Felicia to hospital, emergency.
What's wrong with her? I heard her
Ate
saying
something.
she ate something.
Ate something that didn't agree with her.
She's so sick they gotta take her to the emergency.
Mm-hmm. I said, well, she can't be that sick if she went home instead of going to the hospital. But hey, I probably would do the same thing.
No, you wouldn't. You would have just came home and
That's what I said. I probably would have did the same thing. I probably would have went home instead of going to the doctor.
the doctor ain't gonna do nothing if you just throwing up and don't have like a fever or nothing.
Yeah, I guess they said she in knots or some kind of pain and discomfort.
Mm. Well,
But I would have took something.
yeah, just
Pepto
take some Pepto
Bismol or
Bismol and
throw it up.
throw it up. Once you throw up, you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Your stomach will stop hurting and everything.
Yeah, just throw up.
Get it out. Cause as long as it's sitting there,
It's
you're gonna
gonna
feel
make you
bad.
nauseous. Yeah.
Yeah. Just get some Pepto Bismol. I mean,
Well, they're gonna be gone all day.
yeah, they definitely gonna be gone. They can't go in the hospital with her
Oh,
because of COVID.
yeah.
Lord, my sister-in-law's not feeling well, and she's the princess of the family, so they gonna take her to the hospital, child. But anyway, that white chicken. So Kaepernick makes a point that his mama can't cook. Now look, if I was his parents, though, and I'm pretty sure they've seen it. If I was his parents and I saw this and saw myself from his point of view, because it is thoroughly from his point of view, how he felt growing up as a child. This whole docu-series is his high school years. So it's, from his freshman year to his senior year, him getting ready to go to college. That's where it stops. If I was his parents and I looked at that, I would be hurt because I would be like, we hurt this boy. You know what I mean? We kept him away from black things. We kept him away from his culture. We kept him away from black food, everything. Like, we didn't try hard enough. We didn't want him to be black. We didn't want him to be black. And he just ended up being black. After all we did, he still ended up being black. And I really don't think that's what they wanted. But when you adopt a biracial child, you can't just make them be one race. Well, I guess you can, but then you end up with some of the problems that he suffered. And I believe that he suffered. I really do. I really do. I just don't think that his parents did enough. I don't even think that Southern white people, I don't think that's their thing. Like, I don't even think they would adopt a minority child. It's these supposed progressive Caucasian people here in like California and these other progressive states. And I think some people do it they feel like their ancestors were so bad. So let me adopt this black child. Let me be the savior for this black child and adopt them and not even know what goes into taking care of a black child. It's different if you have a biracial child. If that child is yours, a white woman or a white man that has a child with a black partner, that's to me is totally different because that other parent is there to hopefully balance out that situation. But in this situation, Colin had two white parents, a white mama and a white daddy. And it seemed like he was interested in the black culture. Like there were things about being black that he was interested in, but he couldn't get that at home. He felt like he couldn't be himself as a child. He really didn't come into his blackness probably until he left his mom and dad, which was sad to me. you know, it was one scene where he went to the lady's house that was braiding his hair, and she had cooked like all this soul food, like cornbread, black eyed peas, macaroni and cheese, pork chops, and stuff. And just to see him like shoveling this food down because that wasn't something that he received on a regular basis. Because, they showed him like every time his mama cooked something, he would be drowning it in salt and pepper or ketchup or something to get to give it some flavor. And it's funny to see, but when you really think about that, it's not funny. When you really think about like, God, dog, boy, you ain't never had no real macaroni and cheese or soul food or really been able to hang out with any black friends. But the area that he grew up in was predominantly white. I forgot what area um, it was, but this is a predominantly white um, city. Now there were other black kids at his school. Well, they did show other black kids um, at his school, but it wasn't a lot. So, I mean, it's a very interesting documentary. And it doesn't just talk about like Colin Kaepernick's life. Like, he talks about things that were, racial things that were going on in the 60s and
Okay, I just gotta
70s.
say this.
Go
I'm sorry.
ahead.
I'm confused. Art's there. So why is we taking?
At the house.
Apparently.
So they both left?
Yeah, yeah.
Mom and Pop left?
To take her to emergency. Art's
How you know he there?
because Pop said something's going on with the truck, so he's gonna have Art look at it while they take her to emergency. I'm just confused. I don't know. I mean, I'm new at this relationship thing. It's just I don't know. I'm
You
just
knew at what relationship thing, boy. You been married for what, 9, 11 dozen years?
I don't know. I mean, I'm new at this. I don't know.
So they just jumped up and put their shoes on and left?
Yep. I don't get it. I mean, because I mentioned have her throw it up. Throw it up. Call you back in another half hour or something. She been at home ever since this morning. Felicia go up early to go to work. She been at home another half hour ain't gonna hurt. So just get on her knees, sit around that toilet stool, and stuff will come right up. Then see how she feel in about a half hour.
Yeah, take some Pepto Bismol, some Mylanta or something, and lay down. Take a couple of sips of water, see if that stay down.
Or just go ahead and you just go ahead and throw it up. And whatever is in there, that'll then call back and see how you feel. Then listen.
Oh,
But
we
see, if it
gonna
was
see
grandma,
better, baby.
see, if it was grandma, grandma'd be like, Vic, sit your ass down. Tell that woman, get here. Tell her to take this and put it on the phone.
Yeah.
Take this and get your ass over that toilet. Throw it up. That's exactly what she'll do.
Go to the store.
Yeah.
Tell
Oh,
your
yeah, she
husband to go get you a Sprite or 7 Up.
don't they have something to induce vomiting now?
You don't need to induce vomiting if your stomach is already upset.
Well, she
It'll
said it was
eventually.
cramped or something.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's all you need to do.
She probably that her stomach is cramping. She probably needs to throw up some, poop out some. You okay?
Throw it up. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think you need both of your.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that. Yeah, just get rid of the
Because
stuff.
the
Get
hospital
out
is
of the
not
system.
going to do anything but give you some over the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some
And send you back home.
and send you back home. They're gonna give you something for nausea.
They weren't listening to that. No, no, we gonna go. We can send in some hospitals. We can send in emergency. We gonna just sit there. All right then. All right then.
Especially if it's just something she ate.
It's just something she ate.
Mm.
It's food poisoning. I said okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's normal.
Yeah. Okay. It's food poisoning. Yeah. Okay. Now, throw it up.
Lay down, take you a couple of naps, relax.
Drink some Gatorade later on.
Your husband is there. If he gets worse, he can take you to the hospital, right?
That's the way it
And
should
see, the
work.
thing is, well, Art is probably like, ain't nothing wrong with you.
That'd be me. There ain't nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
I don't care if you turning blue. Shoot, there ain't nothing wrong with you. Buckle over and talk about my stomach. My stomach. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
But that's why she called him.
You need to go
The
take a shit.
Yeah, go shit. Go sit on the toilet. That's why she called mom and pop, because she knew they would come.
I guess so. And what's your problem, Gizmo?
Gizmo like, I ain't bothering nobody. Okay, so have you guys seen?
I'm sorry.
Have you?
I'm just.
I know. We just talking
I'm
shit.
just
I know these people are like, I hate her. She just go from one thing to another. Have you?
That's her superpower, y'all.
It is.
That's-
I'm multitasking. Have you guys seen the Have you guys seen the show? Like, are you going to watch it? Do you care about Colin Kaepernick?
Oh,
The Colin Kaepernick thing.
Okay.
Do you care about him? Is this just old news to some of y'all? Cause it's new news to me. Like, I really didn't know who he was
That's new to me. I
before.
didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I had no idea who.
I still think
I
he looks
mean,
like Puerto Rican.
I knew who he was. I knew his name. I knew what he looked like. But before all of that stuff that happened, I had no clue about him. I thought it was done. I thought it was good. I thought it was done well. I thought it was. What you say?
It was decent. It was decent. I mean, I,
Gone here. Gone. Your opinion is welcome here.
it was cool. I think it was cool. It was it was cool. I mean, but he hasn't said anything that hasn't happened to many black people growing up at some point or in some fashion or another. It just happened. But I've never been in a hotel where a lady said, I ain't gonna give you no ice cream because I gave you some more. I've never had an experience similar to that, but it is what it is. Some people do to different degrees. So
Yeah, I've never. But I don't think I've been in a situation where I have been the only black child in a group. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think either.
I have been. Well, see, I grew up in Hayward at the time. Even on our block, I think there was only one other black couple there.
Uh,
Yeah, there was only one other
See, yeah, that's never happened to
So
me. I've never
that's
been
always been.
in a situation where I've been the only black child or been
Plus,
somewhere.
see, I'm black, black. You know, I'm not brown skinned or light skinned.
I'm black,
Somewhere,
black too.
yeah, but you know, you don't stand out as much as a black person, as much as a dark skinned person. That's what I'm saying. You don't. You just don't. You get into that light skinned crowd, that privileged light skin, that brown skin.
Don't listen to my husband, y'all, because
Brown skin.
he is tripping for
You
real
know I
today.
like that
He's
brown
tripping.
skin.
We we need to do a video about the whole dark skin.
Shades.
Yeah, because you have a totally different view of
Mm-hmm.
it being a darker, and it's different because you're a dark skinned male
Yeah.
too.
I mean, I believe I get.
Dark skinned
I've
men, and
received a
you a
lot of the.
big, you a not
I received a
you
lot
a
of.
big black man.
I received a lot of the butt end of comments and things like that. You know, because of my skin tone, and I mean not just from well, white people, but from black people too. You know, ooh, he almost blue black and stuff like that. So
Doggy.
dark it. Come here, spook. And, you know, I got that stuff.
God damn.
So
Spook.
so it was, you know, like, oh, the only thing I can see is his teeth. You know, I get that kind of stuff. You know, when it's oh yeah, when at nighttime you blend in real good. You know, see, light skinned brothers don't get that part. They just, you know, yeah, you black, but
But they get the whole pretty boy,
they get the pretty
you
boy.
know,
They get the pretty boy. Ooh yeah, he's pretty boy.
being called ultra feminine, almost.
Well, see, from black girls' point of view, when I was coming up, the pretty boy that was a pretty boy. He light skin. Ooh, I love his skin, and ooh, he's so pretty. And when it came to us dark skinned brothers, we ooh boogaboo, boogaloo, and all that stuff. Yeah, I didn't. Dark skinned brothers got the short end of the stick. And in my world, at my time, from my experience, the only our savior was Wesley Snipes.
And I never thought
when
he
he
was
did
attractive.
no, it was when he did Colors. No Colors. No, what is it? No, it was
New Jack
New
City.
Jack City. When he did New Jack City, everybody's like, oh, I'm starting to look at these chocolate men now. We got no love until that movie came. That chocolate man, they alright. Come here,
And then
chocolate.
it's weird because you're like the darkest person in your family.
Why is that weird
Because like everybody else is okay, like your sister is light. Like your sister lighter than me. You guys are like a contrast. You know, she's way down here and you way over here.
though? Mm-hmm. Well,
But I mean, in your family, everybody is black. So it's not like you were the dark skinned person and everybody else was white. Like that would be totally different.
yeah. But yeah, well, okay, yeah. In my family, I am the darkest, and I was told that.
Who told you?
Everybody. I used to get a lot from cousins and uncles and stuff like that. Come here, darky. I used to get that all the time. Me and Wanda. They used to call Wanda Dud. Dud. I don't know how she got that. Come here, Dud. They come Dud. You know, because she was
The dark
skin.
skinned girl.
Yeah, we had some other dark skins in our family, but they didn't get that kind of thing. I always got the spook and look how dark he is and always got that. I mean, to the degree where I hated being the darkest skinned person there. So it wasn't just black to me. It was I'm not only black, but I'm dark
Dark
skinned.
skin.
So it was like two strikes. At least that's the way I felt. I don't feel that now.
Yeah.
I don't feel
Well, yeah, now you're an adult. You understand it, but growing up as a kid, and I think that's probably how, you know, in a way that's how, what Colin
that. Yeah,
was saying,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
But we all have, yeah, and I believe even light skinned brothers have something.
Everybody
Everybody
has
has
some type
something
of
that they
insecurity.
like. Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
just so it's not.
Yeah. Because even when I was growing up, people used to say stuff like, you're not you're not light skinned, but you're not dark skinned. So you like in between, which to me wasn't good either. Like I wanted to be considered light skinned, but people kept telling me that I wasn't growing up. Like you're not light skinned. Okay, I'm not. You know, like it would irritate me when people would tell me that I wasn't because I wanted to be, but it was like, no, you on the fence.
Mhm.
We can't put you with the light skinned girls, and we can't put you with the dark skinned girls. So that would like irritate me when I was younger. Like, why couldn't God just make me light skinned so it would be easier to classify me and I wouldn't have to be classified in the middle? Then when I got a little older, people was like, "Oh, oh, you caramel color. Oh, caramel is cute." Then it became cute to be in the middle because there were other people like me who weren't light, who weren't dark, were in the middle, and brown was cute. But it took a while for brown to be cute. But my mother was darker skinned. Yeah. So she didn't she didn't trip though. I think everybody in her family were probably about the same complexion. And if you are lighter skinned, I mean, she had said things to me before, like, like you're light skinned, so you would people will look at you different.
They'll, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they will. Okay, I don't know how true it is, but it has been said sometimes that they will appreciate you more. You may have slightly more advantages. Yeah, I don't know to the extent of the truth or how that's expressed, but
But that's like that the doll, the doll test. The
mhm.
darker skinned
But
dolls
see,
were the dumb ones,
and
the ugly
that's
ones.
that's where with the show, I mean, with the show, it like I said, the show is nice. The show is good. It's okay. The issues to me was that like he had a black friend that seemed life, and I know this was just about Colin's life and maybe how he viewed it, but it seemed like the other kid had no problems.
But the other kid had black parents. That was the
Yeah, and
difference.
so he lived in a black. But I'm saying that in areas where do I feel discriminated or whatever he's doing as far as sports, they were on the same team and the same league and stuff like that. He didn't seem like he was going through the same types of struggles that Kaepernick was going through. It just
Well,
didn't seem like
I don't think that boy played baseball.
it.
I think he just played football.
Football.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was.
It looked like Kaepernick was the only black child on that baseball team. And you know how it is, these baseball leagues, like even some of the ones that Miles has played on, it's been more white kids than black. Even the one that when we used to go over here in Rodeo and see him play, it seemed like it would be more white kids out there. I mean, there were black kids, but it just seemed like it was kind of like more white than black children. But it's the area, you know, that has a lot to do with it too. And a lot of cities that they played in were predominantly white cities. Like black people don't, a lot of black people don't live in Oroville, California, and Folsom and all of these places. We just don't live there.
Well, overall, I think it's a good show. It's to me, it's more of a, like a statement series. Like he wants to make a statement, as in, it seems like he wants to be the rebel, like he portrayed. I
So
think it's coming out.
Jazzy Sensation says times have changed with that now. Women love dark skinned men. I think
Hell
so
yeah.
too. I think so too. I think that whole um, light skinned, dark skinned men thing has kind of run its course. I think women are, and not just black women. I think white women um, love
Yeah.
dark
But
skinned
now
men
on the
also.
other side of that coin, I think dark skinned women catch a bad rap too.
Yes,
I think that's
yes. I think a
a little
lot of
more
dark skinned women are going
even from
through,
the black men.
even from
That's
even from
crazy.
dark skinned
Dark
and black
skinned black
men
men
don't like
don't
dark
want a dark
skinned
skinned woman.
black women.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy. I used to hear it from the
yeah,
woman's point of view because they be like, our kid's gonna be ugly. I'm black, he black.
yeah,
I used to hear that.
yeah. I'm
But
definitely gonna have a. Okay, so when I was in my
uh-oh,
20s,
here we go. Confession time.
when I was in my 20s, okay, and y'all know I'm in my 50s now, so that was 30 years ago. I did not want a dark.
I was off the menu, huh?
No, babe, how were you off the menu when we dated?
I got a pass.
You got a pat. I mean, I thought you was cute. You
It
was
was
a cute little chocolate
it
boy.
was a booty, y'all.
I,
That's what it was.
I figured. I said, okay, you taking your genes into consideration. If I had had a baby by him when we were young, I was like, okay, so there's a chance that our child could be like my complexion. I had told my mama, my mother knew me. My mother knew me. And she was like, now, just because my first husband was about my complexion, but he had a deeper red undertone in his skin. Much deeper red undertone than me. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say he was mixed with Native American or anything like that, but he had a very red undertone. He wasn't just similar to me, not light, not dark. So, I'm thinking, okay, well, my kid's gonna be light skinned for sure. And my mother was like, no, they're not. Because your kids can have genes or, pick up that DNA from your father's side of the family, and mostly everybody on my dad's side of the family is very dark skinned. They are very dark skinned, tight eyed, dark haired people. That's just my dad's side of the family. Very beautiful, big women, big
Did you
chest,
have to big?
big women, big
Golly.
chests, big butts, very dark skin, smooth black complexion, dark hair, tight eyes. That's my dad's side of the family. But I was like, no, don't your kids just get genes from your mama and daddy? This is me not knowing in my 20s. I'm in my 20s. I don't know, anything about DNA and who kids get stuff from and all that kind of stuff. So when my first son was born, he was our complexion. So I was like, okay, you're back. Did it again. Had another child, and he was a little lighter than both of us, both his mom and dad,
I'm taking it.
and his brother. You want to take a nap? I ain't gonna be on here too long, cause I was coughing a little bit earlier, like my asthma just kind of like flared up out of nowhere.
Wait a minute. Tomorrow's the
Is tomorrow the thing?
it's on the fourth.
Okay. So we had we have uh one child who is lighter with more yellow undertones. So he is lighter than me and his father and his brother. And then we have one child who is probably my complexion, but has more of the red undertones like his dad. So you don't know what type of child, what complexion your child is going to be or anything. You're going to love that child regardless. I was extremely childish. There was a certain look that I liked. There was a certain man that I was attracted to in my 20s. I moved out of that so fast. I have dated all types of men, from extremely light skinned to African, Nigerian, darker skinned men, all type. I just love black men. Now, I have never dated outside my race. I have never dated a Caucasian, Asian, Hispanic, anything like that, because I'm not attracted to them. I have only been ever in my life attracted to black men. I love me some black men, okay? And my husband is dark skinned, and I love all that chocolate. So, you know, you go with what you are attracted to. You know what I mean? And some people are attracted to darker skin, some people are attracted to lighter skin, and you can't get mad at someone for what they are attracted to, as long as you don't then put down people that are not that. Like, if I'm only attracted to light skinned men, I'm not going to say all dark skinned men are ugly. That's where you mess up at. I'm attracted to light skinned men. I like light skinned men with pretty eyes, green eyes, or, what. I'm using that as an example. I don't. But I'm using that as an example. But then I'm not going to say all dark skinned men with brown eyes are ugly. That's where people mess up at. If you're attracted to something, you're just attracted to that. But don't put other people down in the process of you being attracted to whatever it is that you're attracted to. Jazzy say they discriminating towards light skinned men now, unfortunately. Really? My sons, they don't seem to be having any problem, and um they're both light skinned. One is lighter than the other one, and I don't think they having any problems. But dark skinned men, are in right now, especially with um, a lot of young white girls. It's surprising, these, for whatever reason, people want to have babies with black men. They want these biracial, and it's not just white. Asian women, a lot of women want to have a baby with a black man so that they can have these biracial babies. But having a biracial child comes with a price. You have to be able to deal with the culture, with their hair, with the way that they're going to feel in certain situations, because your white privilege does not extend to your biracial child. Unfortunately, not here in the US. Your white privilege stops with you. It does not extend to your white child, your biracial child. Especially if your biracial child has more African American features. Now, if your biracial child can pass for white, then that's different. But if your biracial child has more African features, the fuller lips, the wider nose, the kinkier, curlier, coarser hair, that privilege is gonna stop. They don't have that privilege. But if they're light skinned, straight hair, more thin lips and nose, don't really have Gizmo. I'm gonna take that blanket away from you because you doing too much. Don't really have the whole African American features, then they're able to receive that privilege, and it's sad. A lot of this documentary that Colin did was kind of sad to me. The things that he went through as a child. Now, I have seen mixed reviews. I have seen some people say things like, oh, well, I don't have no sympathy for Colin Kaepernick because he was rich. He made a decision that of what he wanted to do. He was able to make that decision because he was rich. He had money. But we're looking at this show from the eyes of a 14-year-old child. We're not looking at it through the lens of a grown man. And I think that's what people forget. We're looking at it through the lens of a 14, 15, 16, and 17-year-old child. What he endured as a child. Because he didn't even go into what happened on the football, as a football player in the NFL. He didn't even make it to that point in the show. The show ends with him driving off to college, and that's it. So we're looking at it through the lens of a child, what a biracial child went through growing up with two Caucasian parents. That's how I saw it. I didn't see a professional football player. I saw a child and what he went through, what he endured with two Caucasian parents who didn't have a clue what it was like raising a biracial child. And one other scene that really pissed me off was when Colin decided to go to prom with a black girl. And his parents wanted him to go with some little white girl, but he went with a black girl. And so when he came home with his prom pictures, and they showed like the prom pictures of his sister, who was of course Caucasian, and his brother, who was of course Caucasian, because those were their biological children. They showed the pictures, their prom pictures, on the mantle. And when Colin came home with the pictures of him and his black date, they threw that picture in the dresser drawer. And then the next prom he went to with a white girl, that picture was displayed on the mantle. If you're going to adopt a biracial child and you don't want them to be biracial, you shouldn't have adopted that child because it was so clear that they didn't want Colin to, you know, really do anything that had anything to do with his blackness. They wanted him to be white. They really wanted him to be white. And that shit really pissed me off. Like they didn't want him to embrace his blackness at all. Not at all. They kept wanting him to cut his hair off. They didn't want him to wear braids or cornrows or anything that made him look black. They told him it was unprofessional. Like, you 14 years old. The hell he trying to be professional at 14? Like, you don't have a job, you in school. Why a 14-year-old can't wear his hair in cornrows if he wants to? He is a child. This is the time when kids should be experimenting with their hair. If they want to wear their hair purple, pink, that's your hair. I told my kids when they were in high school and well, they started wanting to really experiment with their hair in junior high school. And my son wanted to. I remember when my son wanted to dye his hair green, and I was telling my mom. She was like, "Don't let him mess his hair up like that." I'm like, "That's his hair. If he put some dye on his hair or go over somebody's house and they dye his hair green and all his hair fall out, that's his hair. That's that's a lesson that he had to learn." But my kids had cornrows, they had braids, they had dreads. It was my youngest son did more dyeing of his hair than my oldest son did. My youngest son hair was blonde, red, green. I think that was it. But it's your hair. If you come out here looking like Patchilla because you didn't put some dye on your hair and it took all your hair out, then you're a boy. Cut it low and start all over again. But it's hair. When they start wanting to grow their hair out to get dreads, my mama was so upset. She was like, "You did them boys walking around, looking unkept." I was like, "Mama, leave them alone. They boys. They are teenagers. They're going through that teenage stage where they don't want me doing their hair. You know what I mean? They don't want me in their head and stuff like that. Let them be teenagers." And for your parent to look you dead in your face and say, "You look like a thug because of your hairstyle," that hurt him. Like, he was hurt. And he has carried that childhood trauma for a long time. He said he didn't get his hair braided again for 14 years. These people caused him that much childhood trauma. Peanut Jelly 90 said, "I wasn't allowed to express myself like this in my African household." I have heard stories of a lot of African people saying how strict their parents were, especially to boys. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, like my husband, told me that there was a time when he wanted to get an afro, and his father was like, "No, you gonna keep your hair cut short." He couldn't really do what he wanted to do with his hair because his dad felt like that it just didn't look appropriate, and he felt like little boys looked better with short hair. And my mother felt like that too. She would like keep my kids on the weekends sometimes, and my mother knew the lady that owned the barbershop. There was a barbershop right across the street from where my mom used to live. My mother knew the lady, and my mother would take my kids to the barbershop while they was spending the day with her, or spending the night with her or whatever. She would take them over to the barbershop and let the lady cut off all their hair, and then I would pick them up. I would come pick up two little bald head kids, and I used to be like, "Mama, stop letting that lady cut all their hair off. I don't like them bald like that. I don't like, really, like, leave them a little bit of hair." I don't know. She would just go over there and tell the lady, "Cut it all off, child. They don't need no hair." I really had to tell her to stop doing that. It's okay for them to get a haircut, but you don't have to cut off all their little hair. But older people, had that feeling that little boys' hair was only neat if it was, cut down low. And it was sad in the movie that his parents kept telling him to, do something with his hair. I guess his hair was really getting on their nerves. It was just too much for them to deal with. So I don't know. Like, I really hope that his parents looked at that and realized how much trauma they caused him as a child growing up. And I think that other Caucasian people should look at that and not want to cause that type of trauma to a black child. If you're not willing to, as a Caucasian person, if you're not willing to put in the work, then don't adopt a black child. If you don't understand that that child is different from you, and that child is going to have different needs, and you don't understand those needs, then don't adopt a black child. I've always, just had a side eye for Caucasian people that adopt black children that are really not going to put in the real work that needs to be done to raise them correctly. And I know that there are a lot of children waiting to be adopted, and if a white family comes forward and wants to take the child, who am I to say don't do it? Because there are a lot of kids in the foster care system, and we don't want these kids in the foster care system. But I still feel like if you're not going to do it right, then don't do it. If you're not going to be able to help this child foster their blackness and honor their blackness and treat them right, then leave them in foster care. Because you're doing just as much damage to them as the foster care system, because you're not helping them. You're not. Like, he didn't know anything about his culture. He didn't know anything about, food or anything. And he wanted to. You could tell he wanted it. Hey, Demona, you could tell he wanted to know about his culture. Who you think don't want fried chicken and pork chops and macaroni and cheese and greens and stuff? Who want to be sitting up eating a frittata? He didn't even know what it was. He was like, dog. Putting all that salt and pepper on everything his mama was cooking because she couldn't cook. I feel so bad for him. My stomach growling. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get me something to eat. So, if you have not watched it, it is Colin in black and white. Hey, Sundance Girl. It is Colin in black and white. I think it's 6 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 6 episodes. Very well done. Produced by Colin Kaepernick and Ava DuVernay. I think she did Selma, if I'm not mistaken. She's done some black shows. The music is good. Everything. It is a very good look into the life of a biracial child um, in the 80s or 90s. 80s, I guess. Being raised by two Caucasian parents. And this child grows up to play for the San Francisco 49ers. So go and watch it on Netflix. If you have Netflix, check it out. I'm wondering if they're going to have a season 2 because this was just like the first part of his life. This was just his high school sports career. So I wonder if they're going to do his college um, sports career and then his pro, his NFL career. I'm not sure if there will be a season 2. Is anybody watching this last season of Insecure? Because I don't like it. Maybe I don't like it because I know that this is it and they are trying to like wrap up all of the characters, but it seems to be filmed darker than it normally is, and I don't know, it's just moving. This is only the second episode into the last season. Okay, KK, thanks for stopping in. Um, this is just the second episode of the last season. But I don't know. It just seems kind of off to me. I'm not. It just seems like it's kind of slow. I'm hoping that it pick up. I'm not sure how many episodes this last season is, but I know it can't be too many. But I don't know. I'm just not feeling. I'm not feeling it. And I can't really put my finger on why I'm not feeling it, but I'm not feeling this last. So far, I'm not feeling this last season. So I'm about to go and get me something to eat. I think my husband said he went to take a nap. What time is it? 2:48. Okay, he leaves for work at 3:30. So in an hour. So he probably wants to take a little quick nap before he go to work. I'm gonna fix me something to eat. Gizmo refused to eat his food this morning. I have no idea why. He just be going through these little fits, these little binges of he'll eat, like his food, or I think he like it, and then I give him the same food, and he be like, "Oh no, I ain't eating that today," and that irks me. I want some fried chicken. I might have to. The last time I got some chicken from KFC, it was gross. It really tastes like they had fried it in. fish grease. And it just had this fishy taste. Or the grease was old or something. It didn't make me sick or anything. I just didn't like the way it tastes. So I um I don't want no KFC. But I kind of want some Popeyes. But after I saw all them rats running around at that Popeyes that they closed down in Washington, I was looking at this TikTok video, and this man said he does the deliveries for Popeyes in Washington, and he had posted this TikTok video of all these rats running around. The Popeyes was closed, and he was making a chicken delivery, before they opened up. And when he turned the light on in the back, them rats was running everywhere in the part where they cook at. Now this was in Washington D.C., but I'm like, I don't care, child. Now you got me scared to eat at Popeyes. Then I click on the my Facebook today, and the news station here in the Bay Area said that Popeyes has been closed down because of that video of this man showing all them rats. And it wasn't just like one little lonely mouse running around. No, these were rats. And it was at least 10, or, and if it's that many running around, they all in the walls and everything else. So I'm like, oh God. Now I'm scared to eat. Me and Taco Bell haven't been getting along. And I don't know what it was. Like, okay, so Taco Bell used to give me the bubble guts. That was a running thing with everybody getting the bubble guts from Taco Bell. Then it stopped. Like, me and Taco Bell was cool. I could eat anything off the Taco Bell menu. The last two times that I have had Taco Bell, I have had severe gas and bloating. The one time I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna try it again. And you know how you try something again to make sure it was actually that, and it was that. So I was like, I ain't gonna mess with Taco Bell no more. I might give me some of that. I might give me a boba um drink from Quickly, and some chicken. They got that popcorn chicken and some fries. Like, it'd be real good. Give me an apple boba, a apple slushy with popping boba, and some of that popcorn chicken and some fries. And I like to order from them because your boba drink is sealed. You know what I mean? So you don't feel like somebody didn't like tampered with your drink. Like, I hate to order DoorDash and they don't put one of those plastic a sticker or something on top of your drink. I don't like that. Like, cover my drink. Cover the part where you stick your straw in. Put a sticker on top of that. I don't like for the DoorDash people to just bring my drink and it's not covered. Yes, Jazzy, they was climbing the walls and that nah. And I want some chicken. So I think I'm gonna just order from Quickly. Cause the Quickly, I can usually eat off that chicken twice. So I have some for tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna do that. I don't know. I think my father-in-law cooked chicken yesterday, but he don't normally like fried chicken that often. I'm not sure what he cooked. Like, cause he did cook last night. Um, but I want some fried chicken. So I'm probably going to order some from DoorDash. So I'm finna go, y'all. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it and tell me how you feel. Okay? I love you guys. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Love you. Bye.